Well, my boy Zeldris is way stronger than I thought. I mean, we knew he was going to be strong, but my god. That man one-shot the Giant King. Granted, Diane was inside the Giant King's body, and she's not the best fighter probably compared to the Giant King, Balor, but still. Zeldris just wrecked the Giant King, like in one shot. We could assume that's what happened in the past, so damn, that's wow. It really puts in perspective what Escanor did when he took out Estarossa and Zeldris, because, oh my god. So, let's talk about the reveal in this chapter when it comes to Zeldris. So, Zeldris, apparently, as we know, he is the Executioner. In this point in time, he's not really a part of the Ten Commandments. So, he most likely doesn't have, the commandment applied to him yet. If anyone turns their back to him, they automatically serve him and the Demon King. Well, I'm going to assume that he doesn't have that commandment. So he's not completely established as one. He doesn't have that commandment where he could force people to, work with him, and I'm assuming that's what's going on here. Why, Diane was able to kind of turn her back and walk away, or run away in this case. But the question still stands. Does Zelda still have the same power? That's what I'm curious about, because we found out that Zeldris represents the Demon King, and so the Demon King gave Zeldris his power. Now, this explains why he was able to basically one-shot the Giant King like he was nothing. That's ridiculous / incredible. But this also puts in perspective how strong the Demon King is compared to Ten Commandments, because if someone like Diane, which, Balor's body was able to take the blow of a Ten Commandment, it just puts in perspective how strong the Giant King was compared to the Ten Commandments, on a comparable level. And then you have it to where Zeldris comes in with the Demon King's power, one-shots the Giant King like it's nothing. You're like, oh my god, like the power of Zeldris, but also the power of the Demon King, because since we know Zeldris has the Demon King's power, we don't really know if he's using 100% of the Demon King's power or not. So that also shows how strong the Demon King is. So just the gap in power right there is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous when you really take a moment to just think about what Zeldris did in this chapter. So getting back into what I was just saying though, the question I have is, does Zeldris still have that power? What I'm getting at is that we know this is in the past, and obviously a lot happened in, from this point in time to where we're at right now in, the present time. We know that they were locked away. The Demon Clan was sealed away, or the Ten Commandments were sealed away, and we know Zeldris and Estarossa, they were very strong. We're fully aware of this. However, I was under the impression Zeldris wasn't at that type of power level, like that high of what we saw in this chapter, so I'm kind of curious. Does Zeldris still, or did he still have that power when Escanor was fighting, or did he lose it when he became a Ten Commandment? That's my question I have. Now, with that being said, though, let's discuss the character development that Diane received in this chapter. So, it's very Diane-like, and it fits her character, and I'm very glad Nakaba-sensei stuck with that, because Diane, throughout her life, and from what we found from her side story and all this, we know that she was constantly looked at as if she was a disgrace. Like, how can you consider yourself a giant if you're so weak, or you run from battle, or you don't fight, or whatever, you don't like fighting? How can you consider yourself a giant? And Diane was like the outcast. She was the black sheep among the entire Giants clan. We know this. We've seen her flashback and how she lived before she met King. And so we know that there's a lot of differences between her and the normal giants. And seeing the way, the Giant King, Balor, how he was given an option, either die or you become a Ten Commandment, that is a thing that normal giants would probably have to choose from, because normally they wouldn't think of a third option, which is run away, get out of there, because, fuck your honor. But normal giants would be like, it doesn't matter, I'm not going to ruin my pride, I have my honor, I'd rather be a Ten Commandment or die. They won't ever run away. But thanks to Diane being so different, she's a completely different entity when it comes to being a giant. She doesn't follow the standard giant rules. She doesn't have that honor or pride. She's willing to run the fuck away if she has to, just to preserve her life. And so when she did that, it was just showing that she's not like your normal giant. She has this different personality compared to their bloodthirsty nature, and so this is something we have seen in the past. Diane doing stuff like this, like similar stuff, and the way she was able to kind of get out of this situation like that, it makes sense because of the way her character has been set up. And it also makes sense why that would completely disrupt the timeline because of the type of character Diane is. I mean, no other giant would have ever have said that, not even Balor himself, and that's probably why Zeldris, you know, I wanted to bet you this man was probably shocked. He's like, I would have fought a giant whatever I am, because knowing how they are, how prideful they are, I didn't think they would run away. And that probably, I wish I could have saw Zeldris' face. I wish I could have saw what he was, you know, doing when he saw just the Giant King running away for his life. I'm just very curious what was going on in his mind or what his face looked like, because it had to be pretty damn funny, just for this man, this big giant, just running away and all that, and you always assume that the giants had a lot of pride and they wouldn't run away. I'm just curious exactly how that would have been, how that scene was from Zeldris' perspective. So yeah, besides all of that, it seems like it's confirmed that Diane does have her memory back, because she does kiss King at the end of the chapter. Now, I'm going to be honest here, I'm so glad that finally happened, because poor King, this man's been through so much. This man has... This man's had a shitty time throughout Taizai. He has. And I'm glad to finally see this man being somewhat happy, because he's fought so much for Diane to receive her love. He even though she forgot about him, he still continued to fight with her, protect her, whatever. He cared deeply for her. And this has been something that has always, you know, pained me about this, is because poor King, this man is always just getting the slap to the face. I mean, so many bad things have happened to this man, and I wish he would just get some happiness for once. And I'm glad to see that King finally had Diane say, like, I love you. And she kisses him, and then the chapter ends. And I'm like, that's just a sweet cliffhanger. That's very sweet and adorable to see King finally noticed, and finally, you know, having this love come back to him and all that. And it's just not one-sided love anymore. I'm like, damn, Nakaba-sensei, finally, we're getting to see this. We're finally getting to see Diane and King, this, you know, romance finally happening. Just good shit, Nakaba-sensei. I'm very happy to see that final part of the chapter. And it was something I kind of expected, because, I mean, we know that Diane does have some feelings for King. We found out about this before her memory loss, but she lost her memory, which caused this entire event with her, and now thanks to meeting, you know, the real Galther in the past, fixing her memory, obviously she has her memories back now, which we see the result of in this chapter. So I'm just... Thank you. Thank you, Nakaba-sensei. That was a great way to kind of conclude this chapter. Now, I want to state something real quick before I end this video. I don't know if this is true or not, so if it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't, but I just kind of want to state this for anyone that is unaware. If I am correct, from what I have been hearing on social media, is that next week is Golden Week. So let me kind of do an FYI if you don't know what Golden Week is. It's, you know, kind of like a holiday in Japan, and you have it to where, like, the manga chapters and stuff we normally get, they don't come out. Like, there's no chapters that come out on Golden Week. And so from what I'm hearing is that it's going to be Golden Week, you know, this upcoming next week, and so we're not going to receive any chapters of Taizai. So if you're expecting a new chapter sometime around, like, maybe this upcoming weekend, or, you know, Monday or whatever, we're probably not going to be receiving one. Now, take that with a grain of salt. I don't really know if it is Golden Week or not, but that's what I am hearing. So if you expect a chapter, we're probably not going to get one this week. And this goes for all manga as well. Not just Taizai, but also, you know, The Promised Neverland, One Piece, you know, Boku no Hero Academia, Tokyo Ghoul. This goes for all of those manga if it's Golden Week. So just an FYI if you're unaware of that. So that means that this is going to be our cliffhanger for an entire week, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, it's a nice little cliffhanger. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.